it is time to start talking about the heartbeat of this team and the player that many people already consider to be captain.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me here today. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. I admit I have a competitive side, and it is a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile twist on the hit classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go now, free on the App Store or Google Play. Today, we are going to be talking about Mackenzie Weegar and his season review, his unpacking the good, the bad, if there really was bad, and then the long-term plan for Mackenzie Weegar here in Calgary, because he is someone that has really stepped up and has shown that he is willing to ride out the bad to get to the good, and he is going to be here for quite a while. So make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. I do want to apologize for missing Friday's episode. This was supposed to be Friday's show, but I was very sick, as you can probably still hear. But I'm happy to be back because I was so excited to talk about Weegar and what he's meant for this team over the last 2 seasons here in Calgary. And this season, he spent most of his season playing with Rasmus Andersson, which makes sense. They're 2 of the team's best defensemen, so I would hope that they played together. They played 757 minutes together this season. Mackenzie Weegar did not miss a single game. I did not realize that. And to me, that is bananas, because I mean, for anyone to play an 82-game season, that's a lot. And you know, we've seen teams come down with like the bug, the flu, or just get bitten by the injury bug. And for a player that, you know, blocked as many shots as he did this season, it's amazing that he went out there and completed that 82-game season. Speaking of which, he became the first defenseman in the first NHL player to record 20 goals and 200 block shots in a single season and set a franchise record for the most even strength goals by a defenseman with 17. 17 of his 20 goals came at 5-on-5. I don't know if any of the forwards did that. I'm going to be entirely honest. Mackenzie Weegar he blossomed this year, and when a player's his age, you know what you're getting. Like there's no like there might be like a second wave for some players, but I think Mackenzie Weegar has always been this good, and playing with a strong defensive core that Calgary had up until the trade deadline did wonders for him. I love that he plays so physical. I like that he isn't afraid to shoot the puck. He will rip it from wherever he needs to. I feel like Rasmus Andersson this season, especially where he was coming back from an injury, Mackenzie Weegar kind of had to, I don't want to say pick up the slack, but he had to do a little bit more work than he might have done last year. And that's cool. You know, it's his second year. He's taking on more responsibility. I also wanted to take a second and talk about his off-ice kind of ability, responsibilities. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. He was one of the only things, or the only player that consistently answered media's questions. He was constantly made available to the media. He was constantly answering hard questions after losses, after practices, after, good games, bad games, the games where things did not go, games where you would expect a captain to give to be asked these types of questions and to answer them. And I think that speaks to the level of, I don't want to say maturity because I don't think that's the right word, but I think it speaks to Weegar's character and how seriously he takes this. And, it's not just the standard, okay, we need to find the back of the net. Like, we need to play better. He's not afraid to tell it how it is. And I think that that's great. I do. I think that that's something, accountability is something that this team has sorely lacked in years past. And to have it now it's a good thing. I'm going to be entirely honest. You do not get anywhere by being slackers and just having a bunch of yes men around you. You need to have somebody that says that you're doing really good at this, but have you noticed this is what needs to be worked on, or just coaching, things like that. And the Flames are really lucky to have him because he was one of the only ones that wanted to answer the tough questions. Only one. I swear we saw him more than some other faces that have been established as leaders in this locker room. And maybe that's just my bias talking, but I think that says something. I really love what we've gotten out of Weegar. Not only because it helps the Flames, the games aren't totally unwatchable, but because he does bring that level of leadership, that level of confidence, accountability, swagger, if you will, to the lineup. And he's confident in his play. And if you're going to play well, you need to have confidence. And if you have confidence in your play, you'll play well. It goes hand in hand, right? But coming up next, we're going to talk about what went wrong for Weegar, if there really was anything that went wrong this season, or if he was just kind of a product of his environment. But before we do that, we are going to take a very quick break here, and I'm going to talk to you all about our friends at Monopoly Go. Alrighty, you guys know that I'm a very competitive person. I love competing. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much more to get. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel boards with, hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So go get off of the bench and go download it now, free in the Google Play or App Store. Game on. And of course, you guys know I'm going to talk to you about Gametime. I love that summertime is coming and can feel it in the air as spring's arriving a little bit later than usual. But baseball, I love going to different stadiums, different arenas, and Gametime is an authorized ticket marketplace for the NBA and MLB, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Gametime app actually go down closer to game time with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, view from your seats, and their lowest price guarantee. Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. I am truly excited to go see Red Sox Yankees this summer, and I'm hoping that Gametime will get me to the Green Monster. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode of Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. The thing that I don't really think we can really pinpoint is where things went wrong for Mackenzie Weegar. He had a really good season, and you might be able to say that Anderson coming back injured after getting hit by a vehicle was, kind of where things went wrong. But, recovering from injury, like I can't sit here and blame a motor vehicle accident for Rasmus Anderson's play. Like it's not like he crashed the car and did it himself. He was the victim in this. Like that math does not math. But I think Weegar had to, like I said, kind of pick up what Rasmus Anderson kind of, carry a little bit of extra weight and pick up the slack because Anderson was hurting. And it was obvious that Anderson was hurting throughout this, at least the start of the season, if not through most of the season. And Weegar did kind of bounce and fluctuate throughout the lineup. And I do think that the ever-changing pairings did also play a part of that. They went from having really one of the best top fours, or you could even say the best decor in general 2 years ago, because that was great. But Weegar has fit in so well, and I like that we're kind of able to pick and pluck him anywhere he's needed, and he does well. He's a versatile player, and losing Hanifin and Tanev is detrimental. I will say, I think that it's tough. It is very hard to replace those players, especially when many like that. Really anyone in your system that's ready to come up and make that jump. So you're kind of pulling from other places to kind of put some tape over the leaky hole. And, the Flames aren't looking to compete next season. So I don't expect them to go out and make a crazy trade or free agency signing or anything like that. But I wouldn't be shocked if they do bring in, a veteran defenseman, or, maybe trade some prospects, or I don't know. I just know that they need to kind of fix that, because that defense, what a 180 it was. It was a delight watching that for those four defensemen night in and night out. But hey, you got Shillington back, and it was really great to see him integrate into that as well, because he didn't play with Weegar last season. Weegar obviously started in Calgary last year, and Shillington was out. So, you definitely have that going for you. I think that another thing that kind of went wrong, it's not even it going wrong, because to me that sounds crazy to say. I think that there was a lot of movement and guys who weren't ready or weren't the right fit. I think that kind of impacted a lot of there wasn't really room to make up for what was lost. And it's going to be hard to make up for what was lost, which is why, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the Flames defense should have been better. No, there was no room for them to be better. They couldn't have been better. Players were doing what they could. And it's not even Weegar. It's, you get guys who have never really played in the NHL or have minimal experience. It's not easy. You're not going to find, gold. You're not going to strike gold on every trade. And it can only go up from here. And I do think that Weegar really did a great job. Like, there's no, I can't give him anything less than an A for this season. He did what he needed to do, and then some. But coming up next, we will wrap up the show with the long-term plan and where does Weegar fit in, and what is the long-term plan for the Calgary Flames. We'll be right back after this break. It is playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on every slap shot to home run to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's number one sports. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts and follow me on Twitter at JustBelmosto. Mackenzie Weegar has made it abundantly clear that he is willing to, not only willing, but he wants to stick this out in Calgary and battle through the trenches with this team. And yes, he came here to win. I think that if you ask any player that signs an extension anywhere, their expectation is to win. The Flames were probably a little bit ahead of that curve and then took a nosedive, but that is besides the point. And now they're climbing back up. By climbing back up, I mean starting at the very bottom and working their way back up. Weegar has a lot of time left on that contract. This was the first year of the extension. And that's, with that extension starting and him being so vocal about, him, he wants to be here. Yeah, sure, sunny Florida was great. But, I mean, respectfully, who wouldn't rather live in a warm climate than somewhere? I mean, Calgary seems wonderful. Like, I'm going to visit, but like, come on, you live near the beach. Can't be all that bad. But his career plan did kind of take him on a different trajectory, and he wants to be in Calgary. He wants to, and this isn't something that like he's saying as someone that's coming up on an extension, right? Someone that's, was drafted here or signed very early here and saying, I want to be here. I like Calgary. It's home. This is someone that came in and helped move things along in the new arena process. This is someone that has vocalized many times that he wants to get through this rebuild and he wants to see the light at the end of the tunnel. This isn't about him spending the back half of his career on a rebuilding, retooling, readjusting team. Like, it's about him and he enjoys a challenge. And I think that that's great because there are plenty of people plenty of people that will walk away and just pack it up. And I think that, obviously it's still early in that extension and things could change at any time. But I do think that it's commendable that he wants to really, he's the face of the team. I'm sorry. He is the face of the team at this point. Like he represents the locker room more than the actual captain. He will answer questions. He will, talk about those long-term plans because he's going to be here. Backlund isn't. Backlund's probably going to retire after this next contract is up. So that is what it is. You can't, you can only move that so many ways. And for me, I don't know if I see Weegar winning a Stanley Cup. I don't have a crystal ball to see what the future of Calgary looks like. I would love nothing more than for a Stanley Cup to come back to Calgary. I will be at what do you just drive boats? You don't have duck boats or buses? I will be conducting traffic. I don't know what I'll do, but I will be there. And I know that Weegar will be on, those buses or whatever they drive through, happy and thanking the fans because, coming in to replace someone like Matthew Tkachuk, those are some big shoes to fill. But to take over being the heartbeat of the team is commendable. And I think it's really great that he has done such a good job. And his on-ice performance reflects his, his off-ice performance and conduct as well. I just think Weegar's a great player, and I wish absolutely nothing but the best for him. And I think that there's a lot to be hashed out, and there's a long road ahead of the Flames. But one person that you can count on having his head on straight is Mackenzie Weegar. He tells you like it is. There's no sugarcoating anything. But it's also not all doom and gloom. He'll tell you, yeah, things suck right now, but also, this player's playing really well. And Jacob Markstrom played well in goal. Dustin Wolf, had a shutout. There's equal, there's balance when it comes to his criticism and his feedback and, other than the locker room, which I'm sure everyone is very thankful for. I still can't believe that happened. For those of you who don't know, when he arrived in Calgary, he said, "Oh, we need a new locker room," or something along those lines. And, things were made, plans were made, and here we are. But that does it for me here on today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are free 99 across the board, here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And tomorrow I will be back with another player review. Until then, stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, stay hydrated, and stay healthy.